anything and everything on the live. I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching. Good morning, good morning. We are on several platforms every morning at 7 a.m. So we're going to start to talk about, subconscious training and manifestation. Okay, so a lot of people know it as this mystical thing that happens. Okay, it's not so mystical. It's just your subconscious. Okay, so subconscious programming and emotional vibration, like how does this work? Okay, you can be the center point. Okay, the center point, and attract everything to you. Okay, I've done it so many times. Like it's not so much a uh, it's not so much like a special power. Okay, don't think of it like that. Think of it like a position you take, and that's it. You don't change your position. Okay, so you become the center point. You make a decision, and that decision is final, and you stick with that decision until it becomes physical, until it becomes tangible, until you can feel it, you can touch it. Okay, and that happened to me so many times for so many things I can't even tell you. Okay, and the biggest example I can, or the way I can relate it to like an everyday thing, okay, would be my new car, my first new car. Okay, because I was always taught that you need a good used car, right? And good used cars are okay. Okay, I'm not knocking used cars, but they start rebuilding themselves after a while. Okay, they start rebuilding the new radiator, new water pump, new, right? We've all been there. Okay, radiator hoses, like the whole 9 yards. Okay, so, and what happens is you start to spend more money, okay, than you should, right? Because instead of buying a new car and then taking it the distance, right? And, or let's say leasing a car, maybe, okay, maybe that's a better option. Leasing a car and then getting the next one, the next one. Okay, a lot of people don't lease cars because they look at it like they're losing something, right? It's like an expensive rental, right? They lease a car for a little while, right? And then they let it go, and then right, and then they lease another one. They go, wait a minute, I don't own anything. Okay, so I'm here to tell you to please try to get out of ownership mentality. Okay, this is all about mindset. Okay, mindset is all the way it's the way you look at things. It's the way you approach things. Okay. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Omar. Good morning, Petunia. Reese, good morning. Alray, good morning. So it's the way you look at things. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay, they really do. It's perception. Now, if you're leasing a car every 3 years, and at the end of the term, you go, wow, but I don't own anything and I paid all this money, right? I paid all this money to drive this machine and now I don't own the machine. And I'm going to, lease another one and then another one. Did I lose all this money here? No. You have to put it into the proper perspective or the right mindset. Okay, this is mindset training. Okay, but with mindset training, you can live your dreams. Okay, trust your crazy ideas. Okay, why would you want to, let's say, buy a car and then assume the responsibility of repairing it every time it went down? And then, so you have to compare. You have to compare, like, what works for you. You want to take it the distance and then, eventually rebuild it, or do you want to lease it and that kind of thing? So it's all what it depends. I mean, it all depends on what it is for you. Okay. But once you put the idea in your subconscious, okay, once you hold that position firm, you will attract things to you. Okay, but the key is to hold that position. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a decision. Okay, I'm talking about a decision in your mind. As long as you stick to that, remember the last time you got stubborn about something? Right? When you got stubborn about something and you said, I'm not changing my mind, I'm gonna do this, right? And then it happened. Remember? Okay. So it happens. But you have to maintain your position. If you keep changing your mind, if you keep going, oh no, I doubt that'll happen, or you have fear, doubt or fear, it'll keep you from your manifestations. Okay? Or let's say it another way, it'll keep you from your goals or from what you want in life or from what you want to do. Okay? But if you hold tight to that position, guess what happens to the timeline? timelines start to bend towards you. The timeline starts to feed you. Why? It starts to correspond to you. Why does it correspond to you? Because you are your own universe. You are your own system. You're an independent system within the system. Let's say it another way. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. Okay? As above, so below, as within, so without. What does that mean? Well, everything on earth is reflected, right? From everything up there. Rock Painting Mama, good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Thank you. So why is that even important to understand that? You're the smaller part of the larger part. Okay, we are all smaller units of the larger part. What's the larger part? Well, you could call it God, okay, because I'm here to tell you that God is real. Now, if you want to call it universe, if you want to call it source, if you have another name for it, okay, go ahead. Okay, so for the sake of this discussion, we'll just say superconscious. Okay, so when people asked me the other day, are you a follower of Jesus? And I said, yeah, I am, because Jesus taught that the kingdom is within. Everything is in here. This guy asked me if I'm a Christian. I said, yes, I'm a Christian. And he goes, but the things you're talking about, like we don't even believe that in church. I'm like, well, this is a step beyond that. This is deeper into that, but it's the same thing. Okay, Jesus is in here. Now, is the devil in here? Yeah, the devil's in here too. What? You see? Okay. So they don't teach it to you this way in Sunday school, okay? But you have a choice, right? They say it another way, but you have a choice. You could be good or evil. So let's say good's over here, and let's say evil's over here, and this is the 50 percentile. Okay? Now, if evil is what you want, I'm not here to try to coerce you into any morality, okay? I'm not here to say do good things or be a good person. I'm saying this is how the human being works. How you apply it is up to you. You want to be a bad person? Go for it. Go do this side. You want to be a good person? Okay, go do this side. I'm not saying that. I'm not here preaching, okay? I'm here making references to things that are real, okay? God is real, okay? And the kingdom is within because everything happens from within. Okay, so here, so the 50 percentile is here. Now, if you want to be, if you want to have a good life, okay, all you need to do is push this 50 percentile over 1%. At least for starters, 1%. Why? Because now you have 51% positive in your life. Now everything starts to go your way eventually. Okay, now it's a slow shift if you do 51%. Can you do 55? Yeah. 60? Yeah. 80? Okay, a little bit hard. 80. Okay, why? Because of the windshield wiper syndrome that I show you all the time, okay? So humans have good thoughts, we have bad thoughts. Good people do bad things. Bad people do good things. It goes back and forth, okay? So, for example, have you ever been to a church and you've seen like people that like pretend to be good, okay? And then you also see people at church who are actually good, right? And then when they're out of church, like they actually follow church because they're actually good, or let's say the majority of their life is positive, or let's say it another way, doing good things. And then you see the guys that go to church, right? And then during the week, like they're completely different people, and then they show up in their best clothes on Sunday, and then they're all about praising God, okay? So, right? It doesn't mean that they're bad people, okay? That doesn't mean they're bad people. That means they have chosen to be that way. That's all. They've chosen to be that way. Is it wrong to choose that? I'm not here to pass judgment. I will not say it's wrong. Okay, to a lot of people it's wrong, and to a lot of people, they don't care. Okay, so if you look at it in thirds, 1/3 of the people will care, 1/3 of the people won't care, and 1/3 of the people it won't matter either way. Okay, so 1/3 will take one side, 1/3 will take the other side, and 1/3 doesn't care. Okay, But what I'm here to tell you is that you can choose whatever, okay? I'm here to show you the mechanics of how it works. That's all. So everything is subconscious. 90 to 95% of your daily activities, no matter what you do, is subconscious. Veronica, good morning. Good morning, guys. Twisted Angel, good morning. So, so what does this have to do with spirituality? If this is so, like, it sounds like more physiology and psychology. What's the spiritual part? The spiritual part is you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here. You're that energy in here. That's the spiritual part. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. Okay, there's no such thing as extinguishing this energy. Okay, in here you are eternal. Okay, here you are physical. These things go. Okay, this body goes. You only get so much mileage out of this body, and then you're done. Okay, and it all depends on how you treat it and whatever. Okay, there's environmental aspects to that and whatever, but the way you think about things is the way things happen for you. Okay, your beliefs are all subconscious, and out of those core beliefs, your life emerges. Okay, life unfolds for you. Life unfolds like this. Life does not happen to you like this. It happens like this. Okay, like that. So why 95%? Why 95% subconscious? Because then you don't have to learn how to drive your car every day. Wouldn't that be a hassle? Yeah, I'm going to work, but I'm going to learn how to drive my car first. You see? So that's committed, right? So everything is committed to memory. So the way you brush your teeth, right? Brush your teeth, the way you eat, picking up your fork, all of that. It's all subconscious. So there's a very slim part of what we do that's considered in the now or in the present, because everything else is committed to memory. Everything else you did in the past. But this is the present, right? You know how people talk about it, right? Oh, this is the present, and they call it present for a reason, because it's a gift, right? Life is a gift. If you woke up this morning, say thank you. Okay, express gratitude. Okay, subconscious. How do we get it to do what we want it to do? Okay, so you can do random actions that produce good results. Okay, the tree is the roots or the subconscious beliefs, which form your paradigm, the trunk of the tree, which form the fruits of the tree, your actions. You shall know them by their fruits. Okay, and those fruits turn into results. Okay, those actions, okay, turn into outcomes, results. So if you want your results to get better, yeah, you can just do a random act of kindness, a random act of something good, positivity, and get something positive. Okay, because you can't do something negative, or let's say keep doing negative things and then get positive stuff or good stuff. Okay, so you can do it that way, and then you will get like a random good thing happen. But for lasting results, you have to make it a belief. Why? Because when you make it a belief, it becomes a habit. Okay? So the subconscious learns to be angry. The subconscious learns to be nice. The subconscious learns to be courteous. The subconscious learns to be rude. Your entire personality is subconscious. Okay? All of your actions. So if you practice, say, being generous, pretty soon it's like nothing. It's like, yeah, okay, here, take mine. Go. Have some money, whatever. Okay. So I'm just giving you, I'm just giving you some information here. I'm not saying you have to be, okay? But I have found personally, like when I give, like no matter what, it comes back, okay? It doesn't come back from the person you give to, it just comes back. So if you want that cycle to continue, just keep giving. Just keep giving, keep loving, keep sharing, keep, all the good stuff, right? Okay, now once you start doing something in repetition, just know the subconscious learns in repetition. So pretty soon the subconscious starts to repeat that. Okay, first the subconscious goes, oh, we're generous? And then the subconscious will start to look for evidence of it. So if you haven't done generosity, right, the subconscious doesn't have anything to pull from. So now that means you need to continue repeating the process. So you repeat the process, then the subconscious goes, oh, okay, I remember last week, Tuesday. Okay, you did this. Okay, yeah, okay, confirm. So it'll look for confirmation. And this is why you need to do it for a while. Okay. Now I know a lot of people, especially on my chat, when they talk to me, they go, "Wow, we've never heard it this way before. We've never heard somebody explain it like this before." Okay, but I'm trying to break it down really, really simple so that anybody can understand. So that when you're online and you see somebody offer you a $1,500 program, and then or something like that, right? And then they tell you, "Oh, this is manifesting. This is mystical. This is magic. This just happened." Okay, things don't just happen. Okay, but this is magic. The human being is magic. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ told you that. Okay, that's magic. Jesus was here to show us by being positive how we can attract things to us by being the center point. The center point is a decision. You make a decision, you stick to that decision, and your timeline corresponds to you. Okay? Or let's say it another way. When you stick to what you want and you're doing something positive, God will come to help. Okay? God will bring everything that you need and line up everything for you. As you take the steps, the doors will open, the right people will come into play, and you will get what you want. That's the way it works. Okay? So you have the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The conscious mind makes the decision. It says, okay, we're going to do that. Now, when you do that over and over, it goes into your subconscious as a belief. Okay? So let's say you were just being generous from last week, Monday. Okay? And maybe only now the subconscious has a week's worth of generosity to pull from. And now you're still writing your affirmation. Where's the pen? I love this pen. Thank you, Jay. So this is my pen, okay? So I am so happy and grateful now that I'm generous. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. And you're going to speak it at night. You write it in the morning when your brain is in theta state, okay? And right before you go to bed, right before you turn off the light, you're fully relaxed. You're ready to sleep. Now you speak it again. Okay, pick up your tablet, look at it, read it, speak it, put it down, go to bed. There you go. Now, overnight, your subconscious works on this. Why? Because it's the last thing it hears. The last thing it hears is the first thing it remembers. And the same thing with first impressions. In the morning, it's the first impression. This is why people tell you, oh, make a good first impression. Why? Because people remember that. Why? Because they have a subconscious. The subconscious works like that. Okay, that's what they're really talking about. Okay, when somebody sees you for the first time, okay, that's when the judgment forms. That's when the opinions form. That's, oh, that guy's like this, based upon how you look. You walk in with dreads, and people, oh, he's a Rastafarian, or whatever. He's a reggae guy, or whatever they think. Okay, but I'm just telling you how it works. Thank you, Rock Painting Mama. Thank you. Please share the live. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Got hearts going up on the chat over here. But that's how the subconscious works, okay? So when they say make a good first impression, okay, like on the first date or something, right? Okay, it's subconscious. If you want to talk about dating a few things, I don't like to talk too much because when I get too in-depth and give you information that's not in the, let's say not in AI or common knowledge, then they kind of shut me off a little bit. One time my account got disconnected. But I will share this. Okay, attraction is not a choice. Attraction is not a choice. Okay, and there is a way to attract no matter what. Okay, and that's what I'm talking about. That center point. Okay, you make up your mind. Okay, now if you haven't made up your mind, oh, maybe I should attract her. Maybe not. Maybe I should attract him. Maybe not. And you're going like this, okay? It's not going to happen. If you say, oh, okay, yeah, new car. That's the target, new car. And then the next day it's like, I don't know if I want to pay for a new car. I don't know if I want to earn that much money for a new car. I don't want to get a side hustle. That kind of thing, it won't happen. Okay? So, subconscious programming and emotional vibration. What about emotional vibration? Okay, your emotions. When you talk about emotion, when you talk about vibration in a human being, like we're at I'm at a different vibration, and my friend Bob, he's at a different vibration. What are you talking about? You're talking about an emotional vibration. Okay, you're not talking about resonance like science. Okay, you're not talking about that kind of vibration. Okay, but like attracts like. Okay, people that like to laugh, people that like to have fun, right? You see all those guys hanging out together. People that are more serious, more reserved, maybe more scientific, maybe more, let's say, they're into education, maybe they're more into, being intellectuals. Okay, they're not going to be like these guys over here. Okay, they're going to be more into hanging out at the library or at the museums or doing these things that they like to do. Okay, now there's no judgment. Okay, so uh, this lady this lady last night, she kind of said something in relation to me contradicting. I made a comment about something because she was making some very vile comments on my account, and so I made a comment about what she was commenting, and she said something about, I contradict my teachings and whatever, whatever. And I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. And I want to tell you guys this morning, okay? So don't get me wrong. I have opinions, okay? They're my own opinions, and I share my opinions, okay? Now, they may be good or they may be bad, depending on how you look at things, okay? Or how someone else looks at things. I'm not here preaching, I'm telling you God is real, but I'm not here, this is not church service. Okay, I'm not here telling you have to be a good person. I'm telling you how these things work. If you want to apply it for good or evil, or, well, hopefully not evil, but good or bad, whatever. Okay, that's up to you what you apply it to. But mindset is everything, no matter what you do. Okay, if you really want to be a good gangster, or you really want to be a good, I don't know, somebody who does shady things, or you want to be a good thief, or you want to be a good whatever, okay, then the same rules apply. Okay, it's whatever you apply it to. Okay, if you really want to be a bad guy, write affirmations like that. Yeah, I mean, but just know that there's a limitation to negativity. Okay, you go down, until you hit street, and then you hit prison, then you hit graveyard, and that's it. But on the other side, okay, on the other side, on the good side, right, 50 percentile, now you go that way, you go on the good side. There's no limit. There's no limit how many cars you can buy, how much money you can make, how much friends you can have, how much love you can give. There's no limit on this side. It's infinite. Okay, that's why we have billionaires and, right, pretty soon trillionaires, because there's no limit. They keep going, they keep going, they keep building, they keep, okay, they keep getting more or whatever. But bad decisions, on the other hand, will reverse that, and they'll go this way and they'll go that way, and then there's a limit. Okay, so understand that this is not about, I'm not here to try to tell you to be a good person or a bad person or whatever. I'm showing you how it works. You use it the way you want. Okay, so now you reprogram the subconscious mind to align with abundance if you want more stuff. What does that mean? Okay, that sounds like a fairy tale. Okay, I'm here to tell you it's real. Okay, it happens in my life. It didn't always happen in my life. Why? Because I had a bad attitude when I was in my 20s. I suffered in my 20s. I mean, suffered in my 20s. I was going in circles. Felt like I was on a merry-go-round. And it was a bad merry-go-round because it kept, going around in bad circles, bad things. So however you want to live is up to you, okay? But just know that, when you do negative actions, it's not going to give you positive results, okay? It's not. Now, some people are unaware that their emotions dictate their life. The Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, your feelings are your God. And what he meant was, depending on how you feel is what you're going to get out of life. Okay? So everything is energy, and we are smaller units. Remember at the beginning of the live, I said we are smaller units. We're the microcosm of the macrocosm. Okay, so the macrocosm you can call God. Or you can say we are smaller units of energy of the greater energy, okay? And that energy, okay, governs the smaller units of energy. That's why you have the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Now, people that don't believe in God, okay, if you don't believe in God, cool, okay? So here, there's only the conscious and subconscious. That's it. But for the people that believe in God, then over here, superconscious. Why? Because the conscious mind makes the decision. The subconscious, okay, starts giving you confirmation, starts pulling data, okay, based upon the target that you select, that you put in your subconscious, okay? The superconscious is the network that we're all plugged into. Okay, so we're all plugged in to this network. What network? Awareness. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're that awareness that lives in here. Okay, you can observe your thoughts, you can observe your emotions, you can observe your actions, all in real time. Sometimes you even know you're making the wrong decision, right? Because I've been there, okay? Especially in a relationship. You know that the next thing you say is going to result in a breakup. And you can't even stop yourself. You just say it. And then, boom, it's over, right? That's just an example. There are other things, right? But you make that one decision and then boom, and you know it's going to end up like that. You know exactly what the outcome's going to be, and you do it anyway. And sometimes it's for your own good, and sometimes maybe not, okay? But if you think it's not, then you have to look for the good part, okay? And then you'll find the good part, okay? Perception, right? Glass half empty, glass half full. But I'm saying that sometimes we know what the outcome's going to be. I know this is going to happen if I do this. And then you do it anyway. You can't even hold back, okay? But there's that network, okay, that we're all plugged into. Awareness. Everybody's aware. Everybody has awareness. Some people's awareness are sharper than others. When your awareness expands, you start to understand the connection. You start to understand the connectivity of everything, okay, of every living thing, because everything is energy. You know, the trees have a language, okay? Their language is vibration, and those vibrations are in the roots. But they communicate with each other. They're intelligent. Okay, here we go. Oh boy, how do you say your name? Kanamenoname or okay, wait. Kanamenoname. Okay, I'm stuck in a toxic job. Second one in a row. Okay, you're attracting toxic jobs. Okay, I can't quit due to money. Any advice on how to stay sane? Yeah, it's all mindset. It's all mindset. Okay, so first you have to identify the toxic part. So I worked in so many toxic environments. Okay, and here's what I had to do though. I'll share my experience with you. Okay, so I had to work with some very toxic people, and it was, you know, it was more like more like certain things that happened I wasn't in alignment with. Okay, my core values weren't in alignment with it. And when that happens, it becomes toxic, because then it's toxic to you, okay? So what I used to have to do is, you know, I would go and do my job, and that's all I would focus on is my job. So focus on your duties, focus on what you're there to do to make your money, okay? And when I went back to my office, because I used to do radio, and it was a very let's say ego-driven profession. So I mean, entertainment is as a whole, and I used to do all of that. So there's a lot of ego involved, or let's say left brain involved. Okay, we can discuss the left-right brain concepts a little later. But here's what I had to do. I had to go back to my office after I did 4 hours on the radio, and I had to sit in my chair, lean back in my office chair, close my eyes, and meditate. Okay, just to get rid of the toxic energy. Okay, because you engage with energy, you engage like this. Okay, so when somebody says something, for example, and you answer them, now you've engaged. Okay, good morning, Manuel. So you know, let's say if somebody says something to you, you say something back. Now you've engaged energetically. Okay, if somebody wants you to comply with something, some kind of rules at the job, okay, and you have to comply, and then you comply, that's engaging. Okay, now you've engaged. So when you do this, you're joining. Your energy is joining that energy. Okay, if that energy is toxic and you have to join that energy for work, because that's a reality. Okay, that's a reality. That happens. Sometimes energy is toxic and you have to work with it. Okay, I had to do that for years, 15 years of that. Okay, not just in one place. Okay, different places. Well, actually more than 15 years, but yeah, but 15 years in one place, and then there was, I don't know, 7, 8 years in another place, and then another place, whatever. But how you shield yourself from toxicity is you have to purge these things, and how you purge these things is stillness. You have to be still. Okay. Now you can go to the gym and hit the bag. You can do things. You can go running. Okay, do something physical. Do something physical to get that energy out. Okay, because when you join with, let's say, inappropriate energy, let's say dark energy, let's say toxic energy, let's say bad energy, however you want to put it, when you engage with it, you become one with it. Okay, so if I got into an argument with somebody, right? Like say somebody said something to me, and let's say I argue back. Now I have joined that energy. You see? So I always give so here's a quick lesson on power. Okay? And keep in mind that power is only good if you retain it. Okay? If you use it, you lose it. Okay, so you got two people here. Okay? I'm gonna put this one higher than this one so that we can keep track easier. Okay? So this one, they're playing tennis, these two guys. There's a net right here. Okay, these two people are playing tennis. This one serves the ball. It goes in the court over here, scores a point, and the ball goes out. This person stands here and does nothing. Now the question is, who holds the power? If you pick this one because he scored a point, you're wrong. This guy holds the power. Okay, it's that point that I was telling you about. Okay, it's that position, that stationary position. Because he did nothing, he didn't respond, he didn't join, he didn't engage in the game. Now there's no game. This guy scored a point, but there's no game. Who's in control? Who has the power? This guy. So I hope that helps. So in other words, when toxic things happen at your workplace, don't join. Don't engage. But if you have to do something that, let's say if you have to do something that's if you have to engage with something that's negative because you got to just get it done and it's part of your job, then you got to do it. You are being micromanaged. Everything you do needs to be revised, and it's always wrong and consistently. Oh, it sounds like somebody's playing games with you and have to revise and redo, and more work gets added than blamed for not doing it right when I didn't get guidance. Okay. Okay. No, that happens. That happens. I'm sorry you're going through that. I've been there many times. So my question is, does this result in overtime, or can you get all of this done? Can you get all of this done during work hours? Because if it's resulting in overtime, well, you get paid for overtime. But if it's burning more of your time, okay, your time is your life. Okay, understand that part? Yeah, your time is your life. So whatever you spend more time on, okay, including negativity, you're spending your life on. Okay. Yeah, let me know that part. You take work home. Oh, okay, and you don't get. Okay, a lot of people do that. Okay, so I had a attorney client that did that, and I was trying to explain to her, and I think I did. And she's a very high paid, what I call high performance professional, because they have big responsibilities. But what she did was, and many people do it, right? They take work home. Okay, so maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about work-life balance. They take work home thinking that they can get ahead and they can catch up. But the truth of the matter is there's always going to be work, okay, no matter what. If you're trying to make points with a supervisor or management, and say, okay, I'll just take this home and I'll do it on my own and whatever, with the best of intentions, thinking that down the road you're going to get credit for it and it's going to mean something, it's not going to mean anything, okay? It's not going to mean anything. And there's always going to be work, okay? So what you have to do is you practice self-love, okay? You have to practice self-respect, and you have to honor yourself. What does that mean? Okay, let's talk about work-life balance real quick so you can get an idea of what this is. So if you have the 50 percentile here, okay, work, let's say that let's call this over here life. Let's call this over here work. Work-life balance. Okay? What happens when over here, well, let's call this part life over here and work over here. So now you're taking work home, right? Okay. So okay, hang on. I'll be right there. Hang on. So I see it. So work-life balance, right? You take work home. Now you're over here. From 50%, now you're at 55. You're taking work home. Now you take more work home because you think, okay, I'm really gonna catch up. Okay. Now what do you got? Well, you got 60%. Now 60% of your life is being consumed by work. Okay. So what does that do to the 40% over here? Well, it crunches into family time, takes you away from the kids, takes you away from the gym. Okay. So for my client, it took her away from the gym. Okay. And what did I have to do for her? I had to help her push it back to the center. See, we don't really understand or we don't realize how much work is creeping in until it's too late. Until you start feeling like, wow, I haven't been to the gym for a week now. Like, oh, things are getting really bad, right? Like that. Okay. And in this situation, it just kind of got carried away. It kind of went like that, and she wasn't aware of it until it got too bad. Okay, now you're talking about what, 65% work, right? And now you only have time to go home and maybe have dinner and whatever, and not even watch television. Just go right to work, okay, and then go right to bed. See, so it's important to push that work-life balance in the middle. Okay, how do you get it back? You start saying no. Okay. Now, I don't mean no as in define your boss. I don't mean no as to be defiant, okay? But you have to start declining things politely. Okay? A lot of people answer their emails and everything when they get home. Okay? The first thing is non-compliance. The first step is non-compliance. After acknowledgement, first you acknowledge, yes, okay, I have a problem. I see the problem. There's a problem. Okay, acknowledge. Second, accept. Okay, I know there's a problem. I accept there's a problem. I accept it's my responsibility to fix it. I'm responsible. Okay, now, next step, what do? Non-compliance. Don't check your email at home. Okay? Because you're entitled to your home life, even if you're in the corporate world. Okay? If you're not doing your job at work, and then you choose to take it home because you didn't finish at work because it's your fault that you didn't get it done, okay, that's different, right? So look at the parameters, okay? But when you end up in this situation, right, and now 60% is work, 40% is home life. Okay, this is what places a lot of weight on divorces. Okay, a lot of broken marriages happen this way. Too much time spent at work. Okay, and it happened to me. It happened to me when I was engaged. And I realized it was my fault. But I had to learn what I had to learn. I had to do what I had to do. And I saw it just getting worse and worse. And finally one day, boom, gone. Okay? But I had to accept it. And I accepted full responsibility, well, half responsibility for it. Okay? But it was my fault. At the very, very bottom of everything, it was my fault. Okay? So how do you correct it? Well, okay, first, acceptance. Okay? Acknowledge, accept. Okay, now, non-compliance. Don't answer your emails. Okay? Pretend you don't have a phone after you leave work. Okay? If it's possible. But you see, what prevents a lot of that is we've done it for so long, or you get to do it for so long. Okay? The people expect it from you. So what have you done in that case? In that case, you have trained them. You have trained them that it's okay. You have taught them it's okay. Why? Because you keep doing it all the time. You keep appeasing them all the time. Oh yeah, I'll take care of it. Right? Sure, at the company party at the end of the year, right? They mention you, they thank you. So and so worked so tirelessly all year, and then doing this and going above and beyond the call, right? Did that help your family? No. Did it make your marriage better? No. You still got those problems over here. You get the acknowledgement, you get a couple dollars, you might get a bonus at the end of the year. But you have to weigh these things. You have to look at it. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth doing? Or should I politely excuse myself? Should I politely not comply? Should I politely pull back? And when you pull back, instead of being over here now, okay, with all this work time versus family time or personal time, now you push it back in the center like that. And now you even it out again. Does it go back like this again? Yeah, it does. So this takes effort. This takes work. It takes maintenance. You need to keep maintaining it. Okay, so now, how do you practice self-love and self-respect? Because I think I take these jobs because of that too. Okay, you take those jobs because of lack of self-love? Okay, so yeah, you should be selective about your jobs. Don't just do work for money. Money's important, you know. You have to live, you have to pay your bills, you have to do that. But look at your jobs or your employment and the kind of jobs you're doing. Hopefully you do something you love. It's much easier doing things you love because then it doesn't really seem like work. Okay. So that's one thing. Self-respect is how you feel about yourself. Self-love is how you feel about yourself. And you're not going to feel good about yourself if you keep putting yourself last. If you keep putting yourself, let's say second or third in line. First you put your job first, then your kids and your other half or whatever. Could be siblings, could be anything. And then or anyone. And then you put all those people first, and then you put yourself back here in the line. Okay, so that's not going to be good. That's not going to help you like or love yourself. So because secretly in here in your subconscious, so we get back to the subconscious. In your subconscious, you hold it against yourself, right? Because you go, I should be doing XYZ. I should be doing this, right? And you're not doing that. So what happens? So you get mad at yourself, right? You're not aware of how much you hold it against yourself, right? But it's there. It's in your subconscious. Because your subconscious knows. Okay? Your subconscious doesn't judge, but it knows. Your subconscious has a record of every time you didn't back yourself up. Let me give you a scenario. So you go to the store. This is one that I give my clients all the time. You go to the store, right? You walk away from the register and you see that you've been shorted a couple cents. Okay? You look back and you go, wow, there's a line back there, right? You don't want to confront the lady, especially in front of those people, and there's a line, and you go, nah, that's okay. Because of lack of courage or lack of self-confidence. Okay, that's why it happened. It may not be, that clear to you at that point, and you go, so you eat it. That's what we called it in the old days. You just eat it. Okay, so you lose out on those couple of cents. And it's only a couple of cents, right? Okay, but your subconscious registers it as an action. It also registers it as an action that you should have done. So now there's that in your subconscious. Okay, then maybe, it happens again somewhere else. You walk away, you say, oh, I got shorted a couple, you look back, oh, it's a hassle. Never mind. You're not sticking up for yourself. So pretty soon your subconscious takes a record of all of this. So pretty soon, what happens? Pretty soon you start realizing that, I keep doing this. And, I don't mean to do it, but I keep doing it, because you're not confident enough. Okay, you're not confident enough to take that time to face the situation calmly. Okay, the key word is calmly, and go back and say, oh, excuse me, ma'am. Can you check my receipt, please? I think there's something wrong. Okay. Now, when you do those things, okay, that's backing yourself up. When you do those things, okay, that's sticking up for yourself. Okay, then that's what I have my clients do in the very, very beginning. Do those little things that stick up for yourself. Because if you can't stick up for yourself, you can't stick up for anybody else. Okay, and then if you do it calmly, that's confidence. If you just explode or hold it in until one day you explode, that's passive aggressiveness, and that's not good. Okay, because it's not coming from confidence. That's coming from anger. Okay, so you have to do it calmly. So how you practice is with the little things, Kana. Okay, um, your name is so long and I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, but yeah. So practice with the little things. Practice backing yourself up, sticking up for yourself with little things. Okay, they add up to big things. A patient woman would understand me. Veronica, what are we talking about? A patient woman would understand me. I don't know what you were making a reference to. Tell me, Veronica, what are we talking about? I feel you're being set up to fail and being bullied by my manager, boss. I don't know how to navigate. Okay, so yeah, if you're being set up to fail, they could have it in for you. Sometimes when people don't like you, they do that subconsciously. If they don't like you, they will do little things just to, be catty with you, or set you up for failure, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, that happens. Um, and I was in a couple of situations bullied by my manager. Yeah, in fact, one of them went all the way till I resigned. But let's see, you don't know how to navigate. Okay, so um, it's more manage than navigate. You need to manage. Okay, you need to manage, and you need to see the value in yourself first. So I would write affirmations on that. Affirmations would help you. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. Write that affirmation. I don't think Jay is. I think Jay's doing something right now. Kana is okay. Okay, okay. But yeah, write affirmations. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. I am so happy and grateful now that I stick up for myself. I am so happy and grateful now that I have found peace within. All of those things, you need to find peace in here so that you can be peaceful out here. And that's where the meditation comes in. So affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, okay? The meditation is just stillness. So the more still you become, the more answers you receive. I know that sounds a little, woo woo, but it's real. It's a thing. Okay, so the more you do that, the more still you become. Veronica, you can please let me know, Veronica, because I want to answer your comment. Thank you for joining. Thank you for following. Thank you for following, you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay. So there's affirmations, there's the stillness that will help, kind of, okay? So the stillness, um, meditation is just, meditation is just being still, okay? My relation, it's 27 years because you had a lot of patience. Okay, okay. Are you still married? Is that 27-year thing still current, still going? Yeah, see, she was young. So we were both young. We were both young. So that played a part in it too, but it helps to be patient. It really helps to be patient, Veronica. Uh, yeah, let me know. Is that still ongoing? Is that still the same marriage going? Gabby, good morning, Gabby. So Naomi, good morning. So anyway, yeah, let me finish for Kana. So Kana, yeah, so do that affirmations. I'm so happy and grateful. Now that I am confident, thank you. And then do little things that will reinforce your confidence levels. Okay, so things that reinforce your confidence levels, things that are uncomfortable that you don't want to face, okay, that you don't want to say. Think about saying it politely, okay, especially to your boss, especially in. Um, oh, I see. Oh, Veronica, ouch. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for me it was work. For me it was paying too much attention to work and not enough attention to her. But like I said, we were very young. Um, yeah, kind of find something that makes you happy. You got to find the kind of job. So we spend so much time as human beings at work. Okay, I have my own companies, but some people, work for corporations, right? So if you're going to do something, anything, even if you're going to make your own business, especially if you're going to make your own business, you have to do things that make you happy. You have to have a job, or you have to be doing something where you have that feeling like, I can't wait to get to work in the morning. I can't wait to do my lives in the morning. I can't wait to see my clients in the morning. I can't wait to get started in the morning. So, and I've been feeling this way for over 30 years, 37 years, but it's because I chose to design my life a certain way. I chose to do certain businesses that all coincide with my interests, and the companies that I have all feed into each other. They all work synergistically together. So sometimes there are clients that move from company to company to company, and they don't technically move. We start out by doing one thing with them, and then we suggest the next company and the services that we provide over there, and they do that, and then the next one, and like that. So they work in synergy. And you can design your life like this, especially now things are going online. You need to start thinking about something you can do, because traditional jobs and all of that's going to be replaced. And when AI starts to take over, it's not going to be like little by little. Okay, they're building up so much right now. Okay, the momentum is building up so much right now that when it happens, it's going to be one boom, and you're going to wake up one day and whoa, we got to do this for everything. Okay, because it's not going to take as long as you think. Okay, next year, the following year, like in the next 2 years, AI is moving ahead so fast right now. But if you find, like say you find something to do online, okay, my job won't be threatened. The people that are going on Chat GPT getting advice and relationship advice and life coaching and spirituality and whatever, Chat GPT is leaving out a lot of stuff because I check it. I check things, and I check on things, and I check on the information out there, and they have the information slanted in a certain way, so you only get so much from that way, and it's dangerous. A lot of people have committed suicide from going and using AI as a counselor or whatever. So I recommend professional people. I recommend life coaches. I recommend therapists. I recommend psychologists. All of those people. So and I don't think that will end anytime soon. Okay, so you should be searching for jobs. Yeah, so search for stuff that you like. You're in biotech. Oh, okay. The hub isn't where you are. Oh, boy. Look for remote jobs. Are there any remote jobs in biotech? Fintech. You hate it. Okay. Yeah, try and find something you like. Is there anything you can do remotely that maybe you can apply for something else or something you like remotely? Try to look for that. Okay. But you have to enjoy. Yeah, Veronica, I feel you. I feel you. Wait, yes, entry level tech jobs are gone in the market is a horror show. Yeah, so there's a lot of the entry level stuff is being done by AI now, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna go a little higher up the ladder. Okay, even attorneys that come out of law school are gonna have a hard time getting jobs, because all contracts are being written by AI now, um, and they're all they all go according to what state you're in. I mean, they do all of that. There's a lot of things at law firms that they're not going to need paralegals too much anymore. So a lot of jobs are being threatened, not just blue collar. It's not just that, but a lot of the mom and pops places are too small to withstand these kinds of hits. And a lot of those things are going to close. So you should find something online that you can do, or find something that you can, maybe be a consultant, maybe consult for some things, maybe that kind of thing, so you can do your own thing. Maybe try doing your own thing, or your own business kind of thing. So entry level tech jobs are okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got all of that. So yeah, but just remember your subconscious, okay, is not something that you know works against you all the time. A lot of people think that they go, wow, my subconscious, I gotta reorganize and reprogram my subconscious because it's not, it works against me. Okay, here's how it works. Here's how it may work against you. It may work against you in the way that you're trying to accomplish something new. You're trying to do something good or something different, something new. Okay, but let's say, like a diet, right? Or like the gym. Okay, in January, everybody's in the gym because they ate too much from like Halloween or Thanksgiving all the way right to New Year's, and everybody parties, right? Okay, and now they're in the gym in January. Now they have fitness goals. Now they're gonna do it, right? Okay, and what happens in March? They stop going to the gym. Why? Because their subconscious program, their previous subconscious program takes over. Why is that? Because they haven't done enough repetition over here with the new program. So just remember, it takes repetition. So what I'm really talking about is consistency. Okay, you might say self-discipline if you want to say self-discipline. Okay, but it's more consistency. Look at it that way. It's more pleasant. Okay, a lot of people look at discipline as a dirty word, but it's consistency. You need to be more consistent. Okay, if you've only practiced being generous from last week Monday, it's new. Okay, so the tendency to stop or the tendency to go back to being however it is you were before is greater, and your subconscious will pull you back to the old paradigm. Okay, so the paradigm is the trunk of the tree, remember? The way you see the world. So the roots of the tree or your subconscious beliefs, the paradigm is the trunk of the tree. That's your paradigm, the way you see the world, your world outlook or worldview. Okay. And then the fruits of the tree are your actions that turn into results. Okay, so those actions, okay, give you results. If you want to change the results, you have to change for lasting results, or let's say changing your life so it looks like that on a regular basis. You have to change the subconscious beliefs, because you can do random actions; it'll get you random results. But unless you're doing this in consistently to form a pattern where your subconscious goes, oh, okay, I got it, we're working on this, then it's not going to be consistent. Okay, but just know that, and this is why routines are important. Routines are important. Structure is important for the brain, for the subconscious as well. Okay, so you need to be consistent. Avoid calling it discipline, although it kind of is, because when you don't like to do something, right? Let's say you're trying to form a new habit and you don't really like to do it, but you have to do it for whatever, for your work, for your family, whatever it is. Okay, but you have to get into that and you have to repeat it. Just look at it as repeating the process, because sometimes we don't like doing what we're doing, okay, for work or whatever reason, but we have to get it done. And that's when you put your head down. You go, no, we're just going to do this, just going to do this, just going to do it. And pretty soon it gets easier to do. Why? Because your subconscious accepts it as reality. When your subconscious accepts it as reality, it will have you do it. Okay, because the subconscious learns a repetition, then it turns around and it repeats. Okay, and then it's on automatic pilot. Oftentimes, when you are trying to be consistent, you lose out because life happens. You bring work home. It's yeah. Life does happen. Life does happen, and that's why you need structure. That's why you need a routine. Develop a routine. Do it on your calendar. Okay, so use block time. I always use block time. Oh, Jay is here. Okay, see you tomorrow. She's telling me see you. It's 8 o'clock already, but yeah. So develop a routine. If you message me, I'll give you a plan, absolutely free. I'm not gonna try and sell you anything. I'm not here selling anybody anything this morning. So we've reached the end of the live, and surprise, there's no sales pitch. If you want the website to look at and see what we do, it's Here For You Life Coaching. I'm Junior. So if you want to write to me, it's Junior at Here For You Life Coaching, or just DM me, message me, all of our platforms. So we're going to disconnect from our international platform, but we say aloha and take care. And